What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got Troy Knorr of Them. Thank you for your time today, man. I appreciate it.
Hello, my friend. Happy Halloween.
What a great time. I'm actually really glad that we're speaking at this time. What the perfect week to talk with you guys.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That was just KK. Now this is Troy. So It is a great week. Perfect timing for the Halloween festivities to commence.
Definitely. So we have the new album, Return to Hemismore, coming out very soon. You just want to talk about how the making of this record was? Was the intention to just continue where you left off after Manor of the Seven Gables? Was this meant to be a new start for them? How did sort of Return to Hemismore come to be?
Well, actually, Return to Hemismore came to be right after Sweet Hollow was finished. Because Sweet Hollow, the first record, was actually just supposed to be a recording project, and it actually evolved into a band, believe it or not. And at that moment, when we decided, okay, it's going to continue as a band, plus we will record and play live and whatnot, we decided that, okay, we're going to continue. Well, at that point, what is a great way to continue a concept? Is it just individual records where, they're just like part of a trilogy or what? So I thought of the idea to actually just extending a single story across the three albums. Mm-hmm. So actually, when you take the first album, put it next to the second and the third, which is Return to Hemismore, which is the one that's being released tomorrow on October 30th, 2020. When you put them all together and you listen to them, sequentially, they tell one story. And so Return to Hemismore, at the same time, Manor of the Seven Gables was thought of at the same. It was actually thought of at the same time, right after Sweet Hollow was being finished recording. So I always had the idea to keep the story going, but I didn't know what type of success Sweet Hollow would bring. So I was more than happy to have a one-off album. But look, hey, it morphed into 3 records so far.
It's awesome. Do you feel like that your albums are almost kind of like Lord of the Rings? Like, in order to really get the concept for Return to Hemismore, they should listen to the first 2 records first? Or can a listener really approach them from many different angles?
So the way, because I did the lyrics, the story, and the structuring as far as how the, how the songs are going to line up. So the structure, really it's designed where if, say, someone just purchased Return to Hemismore, they could listen to it. It appears to be self-contained, okay? And it's the same way with Manor of the Seven Gables, which was the second album, and the first album, Sweet Hollow. So if you listen to any one of those, there's a definite beginning and there's a definite ending. However, when you pay careful attention to the little nuances that are added at the beginning of Manor of the Seven Gables and the latest, Return to Hemismore, when you understand what has transpired previously, you like a light bulb goes off. Wow, this is a continuation. But realistically, you could just purchase Return to Hemismore and just get that part of the story. It's not the third part of the story. It's just the third part of a single story, not like part of a trilogy. So it can be self-contained as far as like the listener is concerned. They could just engross themselves with that one part of that single story.
Mm-hmm. Do you, obviously, a story determines the outcome of the lyrics, but would you say that maybe the story can also determine the outcome of the music as well?
To some degree, yes. As far as the way we work with this concept project, really none of us has done a concept to this degree. Me personally, I've always written songs where it was just a single song, you tell a single story, or maybe a theme of one particular record, where some songs are in the same realm of what the theme is. But this was really interesting because you have to look at the structure of the story before anything is written, before any music, vocals, anything. How is the story? How is it going to flow? And if you look at some, some famous filmmakers, which I won't name names, but you look at some famous filmmakers and analyze how are they successful with their storytelling. And I tried to apply some of that logic. So bombastic openings, it dies down, story builds up with a climatic, bombastic ending as well. And that's pretty much the flow of each record. And so I relay that information to the main songwriter of the song or songs, because we have several songwriters, right? So they just give me an idea. Okay, well, this is how many beats per measure. This is you want a mid-tempo song, slow tempo, fast, whatever, and then we discuss how many beats per minute, and we take it from there. We actually chart everything out like on a spreadsheet, and they give me the songs, and then I'll take the songs. I'll say, okay, this is let's say there's 9 songs on the album and say 12 tracks total. Okay, this is track 2, this is track 7, this is track 5, and I'm not kidding you. Without anything written, any vocals, any lyrics, anything, I actually organize them. I say this is this slot, this is that slot. Then you have the whole album musically. Now, as the process is going, I could actually be writing vocal melodies, or you might want to call it scat singing, where it's just you're just singing a bunch of nonsense to get an idea of what you're looking to do as a vocalist. So while they're continuing their process, I will start my process, which is the very basics. Okay, there's no lyrics. I know a roundabout what's going to happen in the song. Might not even have a title, but I know the mood. And then I relay the mood with scat singing. So is there falsetto? Is there, just natural voice, gruff voice? Is there any speaking? Is there, you kind of feel what's going to happen, and you have to apply that feeling to the, to the structure. And really, the lyrics are really the last thing that's written. So I'll have the title of the album. I'll have the the titles of each song, and I know what's a summary of each song, what's happening. And what I do is I use a huge whiteboard. I have a huge whiteboard where I have the title, I have the title of the album and all the titles of the songs, and a summary of what's happening in each part of this story, or this part of the story. And then what I do is now I start writing lyrics near the end. And how the lyrics are written, well, it sometimes it matches up to what the vocal scat singing is, and sometimes it doesn't. So there have been like maybe 2 instances throughout the whole entire recording of all 3 records where I went in and I said, I really don't know how I'm going to really execute this song. And one of them was the song "Waken" on this new album. It was really pretty much like improvisation. As far as melody-wise, I had the lyrics, I had an idea, but the original idea I didn't like, and so I scrapped it. But I still had the lyrics, and I went in there, and what you hear is pretty much was created right there on the spot. So it really captures a fantastic, it's a special moment for me as a vocalist, because that really practically never happens. Usually I'm fully ready to go. Out of all the songs I've ever recorded in my whole entire life, I think I had to go back one time, and I had to re-record the song because the band didn't like it. And this is many, many years ago in a different group. But my point is, this was a very special moment for me with the song "Waken." And it seems like from a lot of the reviews that we're getting, a lot of the critics really like that song.
Yeah.
Some even say it's like their favorite song. And actually, it's one of my favorites, if not the favorite song on the record. And that's hard to say because there's so many good songs on it.
Yeah, definitely. And what I've always wanted to ask you too is, because not only did I just really admire the music of the band, but like I really just love the imagery and like the story kind of going into it. It seems like everything about them, it just goes beyond the music. And going as KK in the music, like, do you almost feel like you're in a way like portraying a character, or is this just another side of who you are?
Well, actually, it's funny you mention that, because really, what the whole entire story, even though it's broken up the way it's broken up, really it's encompassing, the trials and the woes of KK Foster and what he's experiencing in his life. So it's really like the saga of how life unfolds before him, in a sense, on an extreme level, if we want to say that. But I've used some of the basic framework of the dramatic effects and of what happens, and to actually, it's kind of like parallel to my life to some degree. I've had a lot of issues, family-related issues, many years ago, and I was very hurt by it, and I pumped that emotional, distress into these characters. And one of the most important things thematically about a conceptual record is you have to care about the characters. If you don't care about the characters, it's not going to be interesting. And so, like, his KK's daughter in the story, her name is Miranda, and well, in real life, my daughter's name is Amanda. And it's just, there's definitely some similarities, and there's definitely some parallels that are kind of creepy. But the extreme of it is death. So there's no death that I'm referring to, but there's a lot of death in this in KK's world that he's experiencing, roadblocks and death, pretty much several steps of each path he takes. So. It's just also a mixture of, fact, fiction. Each part of the story, there's some fact, and it's all fiction, but like I told you about the parallels and similarities to some things that have happened in my life, well, there's also, there's some facts, like the first album, Sweet Hollow. Sweet Hollow is a real cemetery on Long Island, and one of the songs on that album is called Mount Misery, and it's right there down the road. One of the songs is called Down the Road from Misery, and Sweet Hollow is down the road, literally, from Mount Misery. And there was a family, Hawthorns, there was a Mary, and this folklore also intermixed within this, that I add a little bit of Long Island folklore to Sweet Hollow. With Man of the Seven Gables, it was more surrounding around Salem, where there is a house of seven gables, but it's Manor of the Seven Gables. And, so you have some facts there. And then you also have, in this part of the story, there's actually less facts, but they do go back to a small town called Hemismore in Europe. And it originally did start, the whole story on Sweet Hollow started in Hemismore, but a lot of people mistaken that, the whole record Sweet Hollow was in Hemismore, and that's not true. It was started in Hemismore. After the first song, Forever Burns, KK flees to America, and he's a grave digger by trade, but a warlock by faith. He flees to America, and in America, that's where he winds up at Sweet Hollow as a caretaker, meets these kids, and evil things happen, and the story proceeds from there. Mm-hmm. So this is following KK's misadventures, everything that's been written so far.
Mm-hmm. It seems like KK is almost kind of like both a fictional but also a very metaphorical aspect behind it. I feel like that really both musically and stylistically and the image behind the music, I feel like you're able to be very literal and metaphorical. I feel like that there's plenty of room for the listener to be engaged into the story but also be open to interpretation at the same time.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, there's definitely some interviews that I've had where it's interpreted in an interesting, different way, and I like the fact that people can interpret something that was created one particular way, but they're interpreting it some slightly different. I find it very interesting, and I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah, and it's cool because sometimes if you say that a record isn't open to interpretation, like you kind of like bend over backwards trying to get everybody to make sure they see it from your point of view. But at the same time, if you just say, it's open to interpretation, it's whatever you want it to be, it almost seems like it's a cop-out for not explaining your work. So I think you kind of have like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it's That's fine.
When it comes to getting like inspired to get into songwriting, do you Do you almost have to be in a certain place and be in a certain time, or does inspiration sometimes just come out of the blue?
So it's very interesting how it works with me. So like right now, I'm not working on anything at the moment. I mean, I could be handed a song, let's say from a songwriter, say someone from them. They hand me a song, and it doesn't do anything for me. I write based on feeling. I write based on how the music moves me. It's purely feeling for me. So I don't sit there, with graphs and bars and write out music. I don't do that. I mean, I to some degree, I guess I could, because I used to play the trumpet for 13 years, and I had to write music. But I write my stuff based purely on feeling. So if the song hits me and I just get engrossed in it, and I'm just talking music, just the music, and we're talking music with a drum machine, maybe just with one of the guitar players will play a bass just so there's bass on there, but there's no concrete parts. It's just to get the basic rhythm down to see what I could do with it. And I'll be honest, there are some songs that didn't do anything for me with this album or with any of the other albums. And the funny thing is, when I put my spin on it and everybody puts their take on their parts, those songs could be the best songs, or those songs could be the favorite songs from people that buy the records, and they're saying, "Oh, this song is amazing. We love it. We love it." Well, that song was the last song I wrote because I just wasn't into it, so type of thing. But there are some songs that are handed to me. I already know that. Okay, I already have a melody in my head, almost instantaneously. It's amazing. So it's all a feeling, pure feeling.
Mm-hmm. But do you find it also maybe the longer you work on something too, the harder it is to kind of maintain that said feeling?
No, not at all. I mean, with this album, it was the easiest. I think it was the easiest out of the three. I just had an issue with "Waken" with the actual melody, but I rebounded and I prevailed. But I had a little bit of an issue with some other songs, because not on this album, but on a previous album, "Matter of the Seven Gables." But you know what? I really like what turned out with where maybe I wasn't sure of what I was feeling. I still wrote something, so that came out great, in my opinion. And I'm being objective. Sometimes that situation happens. It comes out better than what hits you immediately. It's just bizarre. It's hard to explain. It just happens, and it's actually magical to me, because right now, you know what? There's no music being fed to me. No music being fed to me. Troy goes into an idle state. I do other things. I do other creative things. I'll do video editing or something. I'll do other one-off song projects with other musicians, or just do something else. Try to be creative, but I kind of go musically. I'll go into a dormancy, and then once you trigger me, boom, I'm ready to go. Hand me 2 albums. I was joking around with the other guys the other day. They said, the pre-sales are doing really well. You got, maybe we should think about the next album. I said, well, what about the next 3? let's do another. I'll write another 3 records. Just prepare them. And just you could have one come out every year if you want. I mean, I really like writing. The musicians that play with me and them, they all like writing music. They like recording. It's a different mindset. It allows you to escape everyday life. Music drives us, man. Music, it's ingrained actually in our souls. So we really, really enjoy what we do.
And that's the most important aspect of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So before we go, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Really enjoyed chatting with you and really understanding what the concept of this album. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote in terms of maybe could there be some live stream performances to help promote this album, or we'll be seeing you on the road when this whole shit storm is over, right?
Yeah, well, actually we have some things in the works which I really unfortunately can't disclose. But if they transpire, it will be definitely an eye opener. But until then, You could see some of our videos on YouTube. We periodically throw some like maybe theatrical stuff up there, or some music related content on the Them 666 channel. And aside from that, we appreciate everybody who either likes us or don't like us, because we have a mixture. People that really love us, the people love what we do, and there's the people say, oh, that's no good, or they don't like it, and that's okay. We live in a different society now. It's very easy to really disclose your opinion about something, and we're okay with anything. We just know we love what we do. If we don't love what we do, we're not going to do it, and we're very happy that whether it's 100 people or thousands of people, we're just happy people are enjoying it as we're enjoying creating it. We're having a great time doing it, and that's the most important thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. We are
Thanks,
here
Alex.
with KK of Them. Be sure to pick up the new album, Return to Hemismore. This is Alex from Heavy New York. We will see you next time.